What is up, guys? This is my Stargirl Season 2, Episode 1 in review. It's entitled Summer School, Part 1, Chapter 1. Jeez, I cannot talk tonight. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I enjoyed this episode, man. It wasn't my favorite, but there were a lot of parts I liked about it, but I also didn't enjoy this. It's weird. Overall, I give it like a 6 or 7 out of 10. It was a good episode. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to think, but we'll get into more of my thoughts later. Let's just roll that in. Sorry for such a weird intro, man. I'm just trying to piece my thoughts together. We open decades ago in some town in Illinois, where on the outside of a house, we see Pat's car, which they don't take focus on, but I think we will probably get some flashbacks or something to the events. But this girl's talking to her mother about a doll or whatever, so she goes outside because she's mad because this mother won't let her go to a party across the street. So when she sits down, there's this boy named I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. But in the comics, he's Eclipso's first host, so that means a lot for the events that happen in the episode. And yeah, eventually this boy sweet talks this girl into going over to the house across the street, and we have like a pet cemetery moment where the girl almost gets run over by like a truck. And when this kid appeared, I'm like, oh, there's something wrong with her. It's her memories. But no, this kid was actually there. And this kid wants her to steal a present, which she does. And, yeah, she opens it, and it's this weird burned doll with red eyes. It's just really weird. And then when she puts it down, just suddenly becomes a regular doll. And the boy, I spoiled it earlier, but if you're watching this, you have already seen the episode. But the boy is Eclipso, is being possessed by Eclipso and says, "You've stealed," and holds up the pink diamond that we saw last, in episode 13 of season 1, the season finale. And yeah, I don't know, I didn't expect that. I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. I expected it to be some shade thing, because it was decades ago. So we open on Stargirl having patrol, and it's some cat, or like raccoon. Sorry, it's a raccoon. Why did I mistake that for a cat? But, yeah. The, JSA talks, and there's really no crime going on, man. It's kind of like before, Stargirl Season 1, where it was, Blue Valley was just some peaceful town that nothing happened to, and, when Beth searches the goggles still work, but Chuck isn't, and she repaired it. We see the gym is closed because, Sportsmaster and Tigress are arrested, and no, I don't think either of them died. But yeah, the JSA is just gonna take some time apart, and, to Courtney's dismay, they're gonna take some time apart. Courtney's like, okay, I'm gonna go patrol, but, you guys are free to come with me if you want. So, yeah, back in the, it's like 4 a.m. or something, so Courtney's going through files in the basement of her house of old JSA things, and, Pat comes down, and her and Pat talk, and we get this cool mention of, the Flash sent so-and-so into an alternate timeline, and Courtney's like, what? Remember Pat was part of the Secret Seven. I think Pat's from a really long time ago, and he just somehow time traveled, like, I think he's from, like, the 1950s, but along with Starman, like, time traveled to, like, the 1990s or something. But, by the end of the conversation, the Green Lantern, the Lantern turns on. Sorry, I don't know where I was going. But the next morning, Mike comes back from his paper route, and Pat's like, hey, you know what? Well, because it's apparently Mike's last day of junior high. It was, or they don't call it junior high. I just graduated middle school last year, so tomorrow is my first day of freshman year. So give the video a like for that, man. Jeez, R.I.P. to me. But yeah. They're gonna go on a vacation to Yellowstone, and Mike's like, oh, who's gonna cover my paper route? And Pat mentions Jakeem. Jakeem will do it, and that's, if they went on vacation, I don't know if he's gonna cancel or anything, but Jakeem is in this season. Jakeem Williams, or Thunder, the Pink Pen. Jim Gaffigan is gonna be the person inside the Pink Pen, but I'm going on a rant. Mike, I'm sorry. It's been a while since I watched Stargirl. I think the last time I watched Stargirl was the finale. So I'm still trying to be like, whose name is that? Mike? Barbara? Yeah. Mike and Courtney are against it, and they're trying to be like, oh, let's vote. And it's 2 against. Drumroll, please. That's my sad attempt at drums. It's 2 against 2. So the tension break is, their doggy barks for, Pat and Barbara. And Courtney's like, you traitor. And then, the scene splits up, and presumably everybody gets offset. So then, in the next scene, I'm trying to look ahead, sorry if this is weird, we have Beth. And Beth is trying to, she's trying to get the Chuck intersystem, like Chuck in the goggle. She's trying to get him revived, and it just ultimately doesn't work, and she's kind of bummed about that. But her parents come down eventually, and yeah, Beth makes breakfast for her parents. I mean, if you sound like the tests she's taken like high level. She's like a really smart kid, and she has to study, make breakfast, go on patrol. How does Beth get any sleep, man? I'm just gonna say that. I think she's one of those human beings that, like, don't get any sleep, but act if they get, like, 8 hours, or, like, they're just, it's Beth. But, her parents are acting like everything's normal when they're not. Beth, after they leave to grab her bag, she knocks over some papers, and one paper says, they are filing for a divorce. It is, startling, and you can tell that, they both entered on separate, sides of the house, so I don't know if they slept in the same bed together, I don't know if they're broken up or anything, but it's just kind of degrading, or just, it hurts kind of, that knowing that they didn't tell Beth after how loving Beth has been, after all the crap they put her through. But, yeah, we have Rick, and Rick is, going to the stump where his parents were murdered by Solomon Grundy, and, at this point, I swear, it might just be, like, the person in me being like, oh, Bigfoot, but, when he drove by the trees, I swear I saw Solomon Grundy running, or jumping or something, and he eventually goes up, and there's a giant Solomon Grundy, footprint there, or something. So then, we have Yolanda, and she is going to church, and by the trailers, I 100%, thought that this would be, a Eclipso thing, and by, like, the beginning, I 100% think that, Yolanda will be possessed by Eclipso some point in the season, like, you were killing or something, or killed, maybe she's killed, oh my god, but she goes to a confession box, and she wants to confess to Brainwave's murder, because she feels awful about it, man. Murder isn't, I feel awful about it if I murdered somebody, but, yeah, man. She just can't, and she goes out and cries, and she gets this awful noise in her head, and she gets flashback to Brainwave's death, when she posed as Henry, And because she poses Henry, it's just so much more heartbreaking. When she killed Brainwave, it's just, yeah. But, it's just, yeah. That's a great way of saying it. I think I'm hilarious. But the priest comes out and he's like, hey, are you okay? And she just leaves without saying nothing. So that was rude, Yolanda. But, she has to go to school, of course. I don't know what time her school starts, but they must have a late start, man. For her to be like the sun. Man, I live in Nebraska where this takes place, and it's not even that sunny yet when school starts in May. But, yeah, Yolanda and Courtney talk, and Courtney's like, oh my god, I go on vacation, whatever, it sucks. And Yolanda's like, yeah, I got flashbacks to when I murdered Brainwave. Your stuff is important too, just mine is more serious. And they notice that, Cameron Mawkent is back, or Icicle Jr. And, Courtney's kind of like, oh my god, should I go talk to him? Because remember, they had that little flirty relationship or whatever, so, they just leave, and then it cuts to presumably when lunch would start in school, and Cameron just, I'm sorry, what is it? Our man, I can't remember his real name, is it Nick? But, Rick, it's Rick. Rick, his teacher doesn't believe he got 100%, and that he cheated, and he's like, but I studied, and she's like, okay, you're gonna take this test from last year, mister, that you studied for, and, let's see if you get 100% there, let's see if you studied everything. Like, bitch, if I knew it was on the test questions, I would only study what I knew was on the test. Just saves a bunch of time, and Rick's just like, oh my god, man, I saved you, and you're... And he just walks out and says, okay, fail me. Like, dang. But at lunch, Courtney and Yolanda are talking, and Courtney is telling Yolanda about the villain that the Flash sent to an alternative timeline. And, we know that Flash is John Wesley's ship, so that's pretty cool. But eventually, they sit down with, Beth, and they notice something's up with Beth, so they ask, and Beth's like, oh, nothing's up with me. So, Courtney and Yolanda, Artemis is behind them, and she's, like, mad that her parents are incarcerated, and she has the hockey stick, so Courtney thinks that Artemis is gonna hit her with the hockey stick, so she attacks Artemis, and she gets sent to the principal's office for that, and then, Barbara and Pat come, and they talk, and, Courtney's just like, I thought she was gonna attack me, and the principal's like, oh, why would she do that? And Courtney's like, I don't know, even though, like, she does know. But I get that they can't tell the principal. But, through this conversation, the principal tells, Pat and Barbara that Courtney failed a lot of classes and that she needs to retake them. And they're all like, what? And Courtney's like, I studied for that history thing. I thought I would pass. I studied for a long time, or what felt like a long time. But yeah, Pat and Barbara are really disappointed overall. I would be too, man. But yeah, then we have this really cool scene with Sylvester Pemberton, or it's either 50-50, I don't know who he could be. He's either the real Sylvester Pemberton, or he's gonna be something. Maybe I was gonna say maybe he's possessed by Eclipso, but Eclipso is with, what's her face? Shiv. I can't remember her real name. But this waitress, he's talking to this waitress, and this waitress is like, oh, we got the best fried steak, and, Sylvester's like, oh, I'll have that then. And then I need to ask you a question. But he has a very specific question for her. This lady is Pat Dugan's ex-wife. He wants to know where, her ex-husband that likes stripes is. Bum bum bum. That's our teaser for the episode. And then on the walk home, Courtney still sees Cameron doing some stuff. I don't get, and he's painting a mural for something to do with his father. I didn't really understand what it did with his father, but yeah, he's wearing drips, so it's okay. And yeah, behind Courtney talking are the Cameron Marquand's parents or grandparents, and they're just bitter and like salty or whatever. Yeah, they were not a nice inclusion, but they were a surprise, I'll say that. And then Rick and Morty, dude, that sounds so good. But Rick brings Soldier Boy. No, Rick brings Solomon Grundy some chicken, and we can presume that Rick has been the one leaving the food, possibly. That's why there were all those drinks around for Solomon Grundy, and when he puts the bucket down, you can hear his footsteps. But Beth made food for her parents. It looked like a really good dinner. She popped open some wine for them, and they called him cancel on her, and they're just like the biggest jerks ever. And but the plus side is that Chuck activates, but Chuck doesn't remember who this Beth person is. Sad. But Courtney's looking at Earth 2 Thinker in the JSA files, and then what's that? 3 Thinkers, The Flash, Suicide Squad, and Stargirl within like the live action multiverse. That's confirmed. There's a bunch other that I've connected. If you want to know any, I'll just comment. But she goes down and she finds Jade. It's not confirmed, but we know it's Jade, Green Lantern's daughter, and she has taken the Green Lantern thing, and she has Green Lantern power, and so they fight. And it was an overly impressive fight. Sorry if you heard a door close. I think my sister left or whatever. But whatever. But by the end of the fight, there's like a standoff where Courtney asks who this Green Lantern is, and she says, "I'm Green Lantern's daughter." And Courtney's like, "What? No, I'm just playing." But then all that stuff awoke the family, Mike, Pat, and Barbara. So I'm interested where next episode's gonna leave off, man. But yeah. We have our end credit scene is with a Shiv, or I don't remember her real name, I'm sorry, and she goes down to the ISA headquarters, where she takes out a bunch of photos, and she rips up one of Brainwave's son. She puts down Artemis, Isaiah Bowen, Cameron Marquand, obviously, and the big surprise one is Mike Dugan. Why would what's going on with him? That's a big surprise. But then we have this thing with Eclipso as the end credit scene, where the Eclipso diamond activates, and yeah, that's just our ending. I hope you enjoyed my review. I hope I enjoyed hosting you. That's my review for Stargirl Season 2, Episode 1, Summer School, Chapter 1. It wasn't really a summer school, but it's Chapter 1, the setup. I'm surprised the Shade wasn't in this episode with how much he was in the marketing, and Eclipso was not even in the marketing, really. So, yeah, I really enjoyed this episode. I think you could tell by my review. I don't know. But I want to hear your thoughts about this episode. I was really worried about the change to the CW when it was first announced, but I realized that these people care about the show too much, and they would never let it change so drastically. And Stargirl's in good hands, so that's all I'm gonna say. So goodbye, stay safe, and goodbye.